Tonight, developers feeling the pinch
We don't know what the line in the sand is.
as Waterloo Region deals with water capacity concerns.
This really did come as a surprise to all of us.
The impact it could have on proposed projects. Also, melting snow and heavy rain
I think over the last week and a half or so, we've probably had 200-300 calls.
creates flooding concerns.
Paying special attention to basement windows or basement doorways.
How homeowners can protect their property. And a blockbuster trade.
Well, it doesn't happen too often if you just look back historically.
The Kitchener Rangers make a deal with their rivals, the London Knights,
It's like kind of assembling the Avengers here.
as they load up for a potential Memorial Cup run. Good evening. A day after the region of Waterloo released details about its water capacity issues, housing developers are trying to figure out what it means for them going forward. The region says it can't support new developments in the Mannheim service area until solutions are found, leaving developers looking for answers and focusing on other communities. CTV's Colton Weens explains.
And we're all very confused by this. This is one of these things that we would have thought that the region was on top of.
Developers in the region of Waterloo are still trying to figure out what is next after the region announced a water capacity issue, saying it can't support any new developments in the Mannheim service area until new capacity is found.
It feels like a bit of a broken system, to be honest, right? So it's deeply concerning when something like that becomes apparent that our government was not tracking, following, modeling properly. So.
The Mannheim service area makes up a large part of the region, most of Kitchener and Waterloo, as well as parts of Cambridge, Woolwich and Wilmot Township. On Monday, a Kitchener committee deferred a decision around Zaire Group's plans to build 3 high-rise residential towers along Cortlandt Avenue East after the region provided comment that it couldn't support it.
It'd be really premature to say what the go-forward plan is. I'm pleased that Council took staff's recommendation to hold off this past Monday.
In an email to CTV News, Zaire Group says it's reviewing the information and working with regional and municipal partners to better understand the implications. At this time, it would be premature to comment further. Verbanovic says collaboration will be key going forward with both the region and developers to figure out the staging of their projects and when things will be coming online.
This really did come as a surprise to all of us, including members of regional council, but also area municipalities. We will now look to see how, in light of the region's news, we can continue doing the work that we're obligated to do in a way that respects the concerns that they've raised.
I would love to sit in an advisory volunteer capacity to try and push. We need collaboration. We need entrepreneurial push. We need the red tape removed sort of to solve this as a community.
Stephen Litz says Vive has several projects underway in Kitchener already. Contingencies are in place, but Litz says this kind of uncertainty can be difficult or devastating when planning projects that could take years to build. So
we sort of put like a full stop on all activity in the region, save and except for anything that was literally in construction or about to start. Fortunate to have projects in Milton, Guelph, St. Catharines, and a few other communities that also desperately need rental stock. So we'll focus our attention there until the region can get its act together.
Regional Council will discuss its water capacity issue at its next meeting on Tuesday. Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
A long list of delegates will look to have their voices heard tonight in front of regional councillors when it comes to the highly debated encampment at 100 Victoria Street North in Kitchener. The region of Waterloo is hosting a public information session regarding amendments to a bylaw that looks to clear the site to make way for construction of the Kitchener Central Transit Hub. CTV's Spencer Turcotte will be following that meeting for us, which is just getting underway now. But Spencer, you heard from one of those delegates earlier today.
And he comes at this with a unique perspective, considering he used to be homeless in Kitchener. But a big concern here for many delegates is that once the encampment is fully cleared, there isn't enough shelter space for the residents. A new year is here, and so is the encampment at 100 Victoria Street North. not what regional councillors had in mind when they approved a bylaw last year. That was intended to force anyone living at the encampment off the land before the end of 2025. But those plans ground to a halt when a legal challenge arose. The issue, whether the bylaw breaches charter rights. That's being litigated at the Ontario Superior Court of Justice and returns to the courtroom next month. Now the region has proposed amendments to that site-specific bylaw. Some of those recommended changes include requiring all residents to vacate the land by April 1st, 2026, defining a resident as anyone who is living at the site as of April 16th, 2025, and removing the ability to fine people contravening the bylaw. A transition process with individual housing plans is also listed among the amendments, and the region would help residents move their belongings to a storage facility for up to 6 months. But some feel the amendments aren't enough.
I used to be homeless for a long time, and I've seen firsthand what happens when people fall through the cracks. I was a victim of it.
That's why Tanner Evan Bergsma feels it's so important to delegate tonight. He feels an extension to clear the encampment is needed.
They're not putting enough resources into warming shelters. They're expecting the work to be put on the social workers to find the people housing. 4 months is not enough time.
He fears the April 1st deadline will just result in an unfortunate case of deja vu.
If they're going to move them from one encampment, they're going to create another encampment somewhere else.
So like many other delegates, he's coming to the meeting tonight with suggestions.
And we furthermore need an additional amendment to be putting additional city or regional funds into additional warming centers.
And we should note the region said the current costs to maintain the encampment are more than $793,000 a year or $66,000 a month. Leanne.
Okay, Spencer, thanks for that. CTV's Spencer Turcotte joining us live. A gray, cloudy, mild day here in Waterloo region. We'll take our first check on the forecast with CTV's Ashley Bacon joining us live in studio. Ash, mild temperatures, but we are starting to see that snow melt out there.
Absolutely, Leanne. You gotta, find that balance. A lot of people love, of course, winter and the snow that comes with it and the cooler temperatures, but it has been a long gray stretch, and seeing a little bit of a break in those cold, deep temperatures that we saw in late December and even early January has been a nice relief, I know, for myself, and I'm sure many of our viewers. Looking at our satellite radar right now, that big precipitation belt that was blanketing our region over the first half of the week, that's now started to move out. So we will start to see a little bit of lighter flurries throughout the evening, but overall conditions not too bad. Right now, 1 degree in Kitchener-Waterloo and feeling a little closer to seasonal at -3 with the wind chill. But Leanne, still warm out there, will continue to be so for the next few days, and we might even reach double digits. I'll have those details a little later.
Okay, Ash, thanks. And those warm temperatures mixed with melting snow and significant rain has created the perfect storm for flooding. It's kept crews in Kitchener busy from draining to drying the mess up. CTV's Karis Mapp has more on how you can protect your property.
I thought, oh no, what's happening? What needs to happen?
It's a gift no one wants for Christmas. A late December flood forcing staff at the Ray of Hope in Kitchener to pivot.
Our executive team works up here, HR, our donations, fundraising team, our accounting, payroll, those kind of important things.
The bulk of the damage was contained to the second floor, but leakage caused concern for the hub helping vulnerable individuals.
We're feeding and have a day space for up to 300 people every day. So we had to close for that day.
It wasn't long before they called in a restoration company.
Working with Woodhouse also, they came in right away.
The water came in through the roof just from what happened. There was a backup, just too much snow, too much ice. Typically the water would drain or flow towards the drains. This time it didn't, so it just backs up.
Now that the area has been drained, crews are keeping it dry, a common practice this company is all too familiar with.
I think over the last week and a half or so, we've probably had 200-300 calls, between commercial and residential.
It comes after the significant snow mixed with heavy rain and warming temperatures across southern Ontario.
We're seeing roof leaks, we're seeing sump pump failures in basements, we're seeing window leaks.
And it's not just in buildings. Some streets are also experiencing ponding and pooling.
In some cases, we're seeing that there's some localized minor flooding taking place where there might be some blocked catch basins.
While City of Kitchener crews work to clear the roadways, officials are also offering tips to protect your property.
Remove snow that's built up around the foundation of the building, paying special attention to basement windows or basement doorways to keep those clear.
As for the Ray of Hope, staff are optimistic they'll be back in their offices soon.
Within 2 weeks, we're going to be back in and running, which is, fantastic. They know the time crunches that we're under. They know the important work that we're doing.
Kara Smapp, CTV News, Kitchener.
A section of Lexington Road in Waterloo was shut down this afternoon following a two-vehicle crash. One vehicle was on its side. Police say there were injuries as a result of the crash, but did not have any further details. Lexington is shut down between Davenport Road and Avondale Road for the investigation. There's no word as to when it might reopen. A life lesson learned the hard way for a group of elementary school students in Windsor. A 12-year-old boy brought a bag of cannabis edibles to school. 4 students ingested gummies, and one of them was taken to hospital. CTV's Travis Fortnum reports.
I'm like, officer, my kid's ODing right here, bro. Like, I want to know what he took.
Scary moments at Hugh Beaton Elementary School on Tuesday with emergency crews responding to assess a group of kids in distress. Jeff Fuchs says he got a text from his son, an 8th grader, around 11 o'clock in the morning.
He's like, Dad, I made a mistake. You have to come get me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Call me right now. He calls. He's like, Dad, I took something. I don't feel good. Get to the school.
What the Fuchs boy took, it turns out, at least one gummy said to have 100 milligrams of THC, 10 times the limit of edibles sold through legal dispensaries. He says the kid who brought them in told police he bought them from someone over social media.
Now I'm going crazy. So now they call the police, the ambulances. We're waiting. My kid's now throwing up.
In a statement, Windsor police confirming they responded with 3 of the kids assessed by EMS and 1, Fuchs' son, taken to hospital. A spokesperson saying a 12-year-old youth was formally cautioned for providing cannabis to a person who appeared to be under 25 years of age and was subsequently released to the care of their parents.
These are potent drugs that can have significant effects on different people.
A 100 milligram edible is a lot, especially for a kid who experts say shouldn't have any THC at all. According to the Ontario Poison Centre, it can be more dangerous for kids than adults because edibles are absorbed unpredictably and smaller bodies receive a much higher dose of THC relative to body weight. Children's brains are also still developing, which can amplify the effects.
Make sure that they are stored properly at home, that are not accessible to children and pets.
Fuchs says in the moments he didn't know what his son had taken, he was frustrated school board policy prevented a prompt search of the kids. And now that they do know what was taken, he's worried things could have been much worse.
There's kindergartens here. If obviously these kids are irresponsible. Okay, now if they would have dropped one of those, it was a big pack, the officer showed me. If they would have dropped one of those in the hallway, and the kindergarten would have ate one of those.
The day after, Fuchs says his son is doing much better, but he was asked to stay home from school while officials investigate what exactly happened. And he did miss basketball practice on Tuesday night.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
It was a big day for the Kitchener Rangers, who completed a bombshell trade. The Rangers acquired the London Knights captain, Sam O'Reilly, and shut down defenseman Jared Woolley. In return, the Knights get a player, a prospect, and nearly a dozen draft picks. CTV's Jeff Pickle has the details.
A practice day for the Kitchener Rangers as the team comes to grips with the massive addition of 2 talented players from their rivals, the London Knights.
Well, it doesn't happen too often. If you just look back historically, it's not something that goes on a lot.
In a stunning move, the Rangers are bringing in forward Sam O'Reilly, who was serving as the London Knights captain and was a member of Canada's World Junior team.
What he brings on the ice is huge, but also the experience off the ice. He's been through battles before. He's been through long playoff runs. He's been in big games at World Juniors and Memorial Cup. So he's going to be unfazed by just about any situation you put him in, which is a really big element for our group.
O'Reilly arriving in Kitchener this morning and is coming to terms with the mid-season sweater swap.
I mean, obviously it's a business and you got to be ready for whatever. So got a good team here and yeah, looking to win a lot of games here and go for a deep run.
Joining O'Reilly from the Knights is the large lockdown defenseman Jared Woolley.
He shuts teams down, and I know some of our forwards had mentioned they're excited they don't have to play against him anymore, so that's usually a pretty good sign that he's pretty good at what he does.
The imposing D-man from Port Hope says despite the whirlwind, he's ready to go.
It is a sad day, but an exciting day at the same time to come here and have a chance to win again.
O'Reilly and Woolley are just two of the new faces that include last year's captain Matthew Andronovsky returning from the AHL Belleville Bulls, and two earlier trades for Gabriel Sherratt from Brampton and Dylan Edwards from Erie, both veteran players who can put the puck in the net.
Now everyone coming in and guys coming back, it's like kind of assembling the Avengers here. We're getting guys from everywhere to come try to win this thing, and it's pretty cool.
The trade with London comes with the loss of defenseman Jacob Zoo, last year's first-round draft pick Kane Barch, and 10 draft picks in future years. Despite the cost, Mackenzie says the team is still set up well to succeed in the future.
And the word all in gets tossed around a lot. You're all in. We kind of are, but we kind of aren't too. The draft picks in this year, in the 2026 OHL draft, we still have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick.
The New Look Rangers are on the ice this Friday at the Odd, taking on the Oshawa Generals. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
A mother's quest to raise awareness. Stella Head on CTV News. The rare genetic disorder that's often undiagnosed and can be life-threatening. Plus, her courageous story next.
Above seasonal temperatures continuing tomorrow, but don't put those umbrellas away just yet. More rain is on the way. I'll have those details and your full weather forecast coming up a little later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
An Ontario family is sharing their grief in an effort to raise awareness of a silent killer. An undetected genetic condition claimed the life of a pregnant 28-year-old and her unborn child. And now her family wants people to be aware of the symptoms in the hopes other families can avoid the pain they have suffered. CTV's Sean Leathong reports.
It's so funny.
Carrie Ann Hall can only look at pictures of her daughter Katie and think about a life that could have been much different if someone had been able to put the pieces together.
It's the first thing I think of when I wake up, and it's the last thing I think of when I go to bed. And if there's any parents out there who've lost a child, they'll know exactly how I feel.
Her 28-year-old daughter, Katie Pryla, was 8 months pregnant with her first child in the fall of 2023, something that had been a life goal.
She just loved children. At any kind of parties or anything, Katie would always be with the little kids.
Having been married for a couple of years, the pregnancy seemed to be going smoothly, but in an instant, it was all gone. Katie suddenly died, the unborn child dying with her. They would later learn that Katie had undiagnosed Marfan syndrome and had suffered an aortic dissection while at home in October 2023.
She was the glue in our family.
Marfan syndrome is a genetic connective tissue disorder which can present in a number of ways.
She had a lot of the markers from Marfan.
Growing up, Hall says her daughter had a long medical history, diagnosed with scoliosis as a young girl requiring surgery, issues with vision and her bones. Katie was a patient at Sick Kids for a decade, but nobody put it all together.
It's the stars in the sky. You just see stars in the sky. They didn't see the constellation.
Now, Carrie Ann is trying to raise awareness with the help of a local politician.
No one recognized the larger pattern that could have pointed to Marfan sooner.
Burlington MP Karina Gold rising in the House to share this story and creating a petition through the House of Commons.
I don't want another mother, grandmother, family to go through that again.
The goal is to change the protocol for Marfan testing with national screening guidelines, education programs for physicians, requiring genetic screening protocols for IVF patients, and public education initiatives, and hope that in the future, someone like Katie and her child will not be lost. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
For many people, returning to work following the holidays can be a bit of a daunting task. CTV's Maria Saru has more on what experts describe as the time-off tax.
Office doors swing open and supply boxes are carried in. For some workers, this first week back on the job isn't exactly slow and steady.
It feels like there's a sprint when we return to work.
According to the newest numbers from ADP Canada's Happiness at Work Index, just under a third of employees took all their vacation time in 2025. And those who did take a week off reported spending nearly 17 extra hours on average prepping or catching up. Workplace experts call that a time-off tax, adding when employees are worried about the pileup, it's harder to really switch off.
You don't get the same kind of refresh, and you don't come back re-energized and ready to take on what comes at you in the new calendar year.
ADP Canada's Heather Haslam adds there's lots leaders can do to role model and encourage healthier habits.
Making sure that there's backup, making sure that there's adequate documentation for policies, doing some cross-training.
And for employees, the new year offers an opportunity to set better boundaries.
Our personalities have this guilt, rest is a four-letter word, but we don't realize that being productive and engaged and doing better at our job requires it.
The strain can show up in worker sentiment. In December, the country's workforce happiness score was 6.8 out of 10, down slightly from November. Atlantic Canada came in just above that at 6.9, but fell more sharply from 7.5. As people filter in and out of office buildings like this one, workers across the Atlantic provinces report better work-life balance, but they can carry a heavier time-off tax. So the advice from experts this week is to ramp up rather than race. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Live look outside this hour from the Uptown Waterloo Square, where you can see people are enjoying the mild temperatures out for a skate on the ice rink there in the square. Lots of people out there tonight. That's because temperatures have risen above the freezing mark, and they are set to continue to rise. Ashley will tell us more about that coming up in the full forecast. Also ahead, anger, unrest, and sharply different accounts. A volatile day in Minnesota where an ICE officer fatally shot a woman. The dramatic moments caught on camera. And later, seeking new markets and better relations. Mark Carney gets set for a visit to China, the first for a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 10 years. Ashley, we have been talking about different things with the weather all week, but today, of course, the story is the mild temperatures. Yes. I mentioned to you earlier when I popped out this afternoon, it was so slushy and messy on the roads, and it's thick. It's hard to walk in.
And very heavy to lift. I was speaking with Alan, our floor director here tonight, and he was saying he shoveled his driveway last night at midnight when he got home.
Midnight?
And you know what? I said, probably a good idea because it got even heavier through the night. And as we saw a lot of people slushing around out there today, driving conditions weren't great either. So unfortunately, that's set to continue for the next little while. But as temperatures continue to rise overnight, we're going to see some fog. Let's take a look from Uptown Waterloo tonight. You can see it's a bit foggy there already. Still lots of snow, though. Lots of people out enjoying the warmer temperatures on that skating rink. I know I would certainly like to be out there as we speak. It looks like a lot of fun indeed. I hope you all are enjoying what I'm calling, let's call it the warm-up Wednesday, because it has been above seasonal temperatures throughout the day, and As Leanne said earlier, we will continue to see those temperatures. Let's start with our futurecast, though, and talk about the precipitation. We've had a lot of wet stuff fall over the last few days. We're going to continue to have a chance for flurries overnight tonight. This is what we're seeing now. So not as much precipitation. This is just pretty much cloud cover, a little bit of rain just south in London. That's going to push through by 1 a.m. And then moving into tomorrow, we might have a few patches here and there, but overall conditions very favorable for your Thursday. That is going to move aside by Friday when more rain comes in, but I'll have those details coming up. Let's look at some temperatures across the country. Starting on the west coast, 4 degrees in Vancouver, -6 in Edmonton, -4 in Regina, and 6 in Winnipeg. On the east coast, -12 in St. John's, 2 in Halifax, 2 in Toronto. Closer to home, though, we're sitting still at 1 in Kitchener-Waterloo. So still above seasonal, which is around -3 for this time of year, and will continue to be so throughout the evening. Seasonal overnight temperatures right now, -10. We're only dropping to around that freezing mark tonight. And as I mentioned, possibility of some flurries, but not too bad. Tomorrow, 5 and mainly cloudy, so temperatures staying warm. Now, looking at our almanac back in 2014, -25.8. So by comparison, I'll take that 5 degrees any day of the week. Let's look at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region. Now, this is what I'm talking about. 10 degrees on Friday, but it brings with it a new rain front. How much rain? Too early to tell at this stage, but that will likely convert to sleet by your Saturday and by Sunday into more flurries. Temperatures cooling to regular around this time of year by your Sunday. All right, and that is our time. Let's look at Weather Watcher photo for now. Let's look at there. Oh my goodness, look at this. Larry Ellis sent this of the Grand River in Fergus. Now, this was taken last week, but with all the melt and rain, I think the river will be roaring. Absolutely stunning photo. Thank you for sharing, Larry. We had a little bit of trouble on our last 2 boards there, guys. I apologize. But if you check out our web weather, we'll explain the forecast for the rest of the region. Thank you so much for tuning in. But make sure you send those photos in, Larry, because that was an awesome one.
Yeah, great photo. It kind of looks like something you'd put up on your wall.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like a picture rather than a photo. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Ash, thanks. We want to warn you, this next story contains graphic content. Tensions are high in Minneapolis tonight, where a woman was fatally shot by an ICE agent today. As investigators work the scene to determine exactly what happened, the shooting and the footage that has since emerged are fueling anger and sharply different accounts. CTV's Allison Hurst has the latest on the situation.
Anger is boiling over on the streets of Minneapolis amid a dramatic escalation during immigration enforcement operations in that city.
I heard 2 gunshots and a car crash, a really hard car crash, and then I heard yelling.
Footage shows ICE agents walking up to an SUV, one trying to open the driver's door. No! When the vehicle pulls forward, another agent fires the fatal shots, killing a 37-year-old woman.
The one guy said that they reached for her door handle and then she took off and then he shot her through the windshield and shot her in the face.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described the incident as an act of domestic terrorism carried out against ICE officers.
What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
But local and state representatives reject that description, with Governor Tim Walz posting on social media, "I've seen the video, don't believe this propaganda machine."
What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is this was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
The Twin Cities have been on edge since the Department of Homeland Security announced Tuesday that it had launched the operation, which is at least partly tied to allegations of fraud involving Somali residents. Noem says they've deployed more than 2,000 officers and have made hundreds of arrests. Mayor Jacob Frey has this message to ICE.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
As the streets fill with angry citizens, the governor is calling for calm, saying protesting is a patriotic duty, but that it must be done peacefully.
And that was CTV's Allison Hurst reporting. After the capture of Venezuelan's dictator Nicolas Maduro, the Trump administration is moving in to control that country's oil, from selling it to the seizure of 2 tankers in an early morning raid. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malbon in Washington.
Dramatic pictures posted by the Trump administration show the U.S. Coast Guard boarding a Russian-flagged oil tanker after chasing it in the North Atlantic for 2 weeks and risking a conflict with the Kremlin. Moscow officials angrily called the U.S. seizure outright piracy. Another vessel captured in the Caribbean, U.S. forces seen rappelling onto the deck of an empty vessel called the Sophia. Both ships accused of violating U.S. sanctions after the Trump administration ordered a blockade of Venezuelan oil, capturing its president Nicolas Maduro in a daring raid, accusing him of operating a narco-terrorist regime.
So our military is prepared to continue this. As he said, the president, when he speaks, he means it. He's not messing around.
It comes as President Donald Trump says he's in charge of Venezuela and will control its oil, posting the country will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. The administration claims it has tremendous leverage to force the socialist government to become an ally.
We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime.
After a classified briefing, several lawmakers are critical of Trump's attempt to reshape the world order.
This is an insane plan. They are talking about stealing the Venezuelan oil at gunpoint.
I am totally dissatisfied about their answers of going into other countries.
The Trump administration intends to oversee the sale of Venezuela's oil indefinitely, as President Trump plans to meet with major U.S. oil executives Friday about restarting drilling in Venezuela. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Creating a closer connection with the community. Still ahead on CTV News, the unique way the KW Symphony is branching out to bring their music to people. Prime Minister Mark Carney is heading to China next week to talk trade and security as both countries look to ease trade tensions. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver looks at this important first visit by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 10 years.
After years of tense relations, a change appears to be brewing as Prime Minister Mark Carney gets set to try and address thorny trade issues in Beijing with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
No doubt there are going to be challenges, and the two countries won't see eye to eye on everything, but there are some common and shared interests.
Next week's visit will be the first by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly a decade, and the first since China arrested and eventually released Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor in retaliation for Canada's detention of Huawei's Meng Wanzhou. One of the biggest flashpoints that's expected to come up, tariffs. Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles in 2024, a move met by China, who implemented a punishing 100% tariff on canola oil and a 25% tariff on certain pork, fish, and seafood products.
We hope that there'd be tariffs, removed immediately. But as I say, this, history has said that the removal of those tariffs does take some time.
But while this 3-day trip is being viewed as a relationship reset, experts say Canada has to be cautious not to trigger any alarm bells in Washington, with negotiations on the North American trade deal set to begin later this year.
If we are seen to go too far down the path of befriending China, we know who in Washington is going to be irritated by that.
But while tariffs are expected to loom large, the Prime Minister's office says energy, agriculture, and international security are all up for discussion. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Okay, let's update our top stories tonight with CTV's Krista Simpson live in studio with the latest. And Krista, we start with the numerous questions around the water supply concerns in parts of the region.
Leanne, the problem involves the system that services most of Kitchener and Waterloo, as well as parts of Cambridge, Woolwich and Wilmot Township. The region says it can't support any new developments in those areas until a solution to increase water capacity is found. It's left developers frustrated, wondering how this happened and when there will be answers. One Kitchener-based developer saying the company has paused numerous projects for now. Members of the public are voicing their opinions tonight on proposed changes to the bylaw meant to clear the encampment at 100 Victoria Street in Kitchener. Regional councillors are listening to the feedback tonight. A number of delegations are registered to speak. Then council will discuss the matter further at a special meeting on Friday morning.
Okay, and on our website, I love this story that we have up. If you're looking for something to do on a Saturday coming up, especially, you know, it's the winter, time to get out, enjoy, there's a deal on some movie tickets.
Yes, Leanne, Cineplex is offering tickets as low as $4 for some family-friendly films that screen early in the day on Saturdays. Now, you may have seen some of these movies before. The first one is the 20th anniversary edition of the movie Madagascar. For more information on some of the other movies coming up, scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen to get the story on your CTV News app or to head straight to our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. What it doesn't answer, though, Leanne, is how is it 20 years since Madagascar came out?
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know. And you know what? If you've seen some of those movies, too, still great to go to the theater and watch them and celebrate 20 years since Madagascar. Crazy stuff. Krista, thank you. Symphony and suds. That's what you get when you pair the KW Symphony with a bar. Tuesday saw the first of 3 concerts being hosted at Arabella Park Beer Bar in Kitchener. It's a way of offering audiences a more intimate concert experience. CTV's Spencer Turcotte has the story.
A sold-out show for the KW Symphony. But wait, this isn't where you're used to seeing them perform. Not a concert hall, nor a church, but this time, a bar.
We're here at Arabella Park for the first of 3 of our Symphony Series shows.
Good Company Productions has partnered with Arabella and the Symphony to put this series on, a way of breaking the shackles that historically tied the Symphony to center in the square.
So we've been working with KW Symphony since the bankruptcy and trying to find opportunities for them to connect with the community.
And the idea seems to have worked. Tickets sold out quickly for all 3 shows, which allow audiences to engage with the performers like never before.
We'll give you an idea of what each piece is before we get to it.
There's going to be no shushing. Going to be invited to make comments and to speak to the musicians too. Here, they have no backstage to hide.
It allows people to be more up close and personal with the musicians and break both that physical and psychological divide.
You'll almost be able to feel the warm air from the woodwind instruments coming right at you.
For the musicians themselves, it helps bring them out of their comfort zones too.
As a bassoonist, I sit at the back of the orchestra. The audience was still the audience in front of you, whereas here, they're 6 inches away from me.
Close enough to even read the sheet music.
Hopefully not too closely in case I miss any notes.
But this experience is something both audiences and musicians don't take for granted, considering it wasn't long ago that the Symphony went silent.
I would very much have liked to add this to what we had rather than replace it, because going from, a 35-week season, it was a full-time job for most of us.
This resurrection season all about bringing the Symphony back to its place in the community while popping up in new places. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News Kitchener.
Still ahead on CTV News, breaking the ice. How a new TV show is highlighting representation and shifting conversation about inclusivity in sport culture. A new romantic drama from Crave, which is owned by CTV parent company Bell Media, is turning up the heat and shining a light on LGBTQ2S+ representation in hockey. Heated Rivalry tells the story of two professional male hockey players who spark a secret, steamy romance. And as CTV's Alexandra Hollick tells us, the show is breaking the ice in sport culture.
Is everything you dreamed of? Almost.
The fictional love story of two professional hockey players is making a real-life impact.
Come here. No, you come here. No, you come here. No, you come here.
Heated Rivalry is a Canadian TV series that explores the ins and outs of a queer relationship in the shadows of a hyper-masculine sport.
Hockey has been probably the most masculine portrayed sport in Canadian society for a really long time, and to have this kind of a romance story portrayed inside the context of men's professional hockey at the highest level, I think will have an impact.
Anne Peguerrero is a sport management professor at the University of Guelph. She says the show shifts conversations about inclusivity in sport culture.
It's going to take a long time to trickle up to the professional level.
At You Can Play, we believe that sports are for everybody.
Programs like You Can Play are leading the charge with a goal of making sure everyone feels seen and safe in sports.
While the representation itself doesn't change hockey overnight, right, it does change who feels welcome to step on the ice tomorrow. And I think that that's really the biggest success of Heated Rivalry.
I think it's just brought a community together that's felt neglected.
Harrison Brown stars in the series. Before he retired from professional hockey, he came out as the first openly transgender player.
It was just a really validating process to be able to take place as just a man in society post my hockey career. But I think it really means a lot to LGBTQ+ fans who haven't always felt welcome by the NHL.
Now, the theme of representation in the show isn't limited to the gay love story off the ice. The scenes on the ice were filmed right here at the Sleeman Center in Guelph.
It's always great when you watch something on TV that resonates with you because it's in your local community. I think it makes it mean more.
Crave has greenlit the show for a second season, but a release date has yet to be announced. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Guelph.
Okay, we will have more news ahead. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Your eyes don't deceive you. We might actually get to see some sun tomorrow, and temperatures are going to be very pleasant for a December day, January day. I'll have those details just after the break.
I'm Maria Saru in Charlottetown. Tonight on CTV National News. Canadians are back to work after the holidays, but job happiness is slipping.
There always is a time-off tax.
What new numbers suggest is driving the dip and how it could rebound. Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Okay, let's check back in with Krista Simpson for a look at what our team is working on as we head into the evening. Krista.
Leanne, we are following the public input session happening as we speak in regional council chambers as people express their thoughts on the future of the Victoria Street encampment. The region is trying to clear the area as it is needed for the construction of the Kitchener Transit Hub. We'll have more on what's said at 11:30. Tonight is for the public to speak. Councillors are set to discuss the matter further at a special meeting on Friday morning. Leanne.
Okay, Krista, thanks very much. And Ashley, we have your wake-up weather, but not only that, we missed some boards earlier in the full forecast. We had a little technical difficulty.
Yes, we did.
So we're going to show that part of the forecast.
Absolutely,
too.
and I can confirm as well, Leanne, it is January. We are in the new year. I think my brain's
You
left
almost
the
took
building.
me out there.
I know, it's one of those things. Okay, let's have a look at our 7-day forecast in Lambton, Kent, Essex. Thank you to our viewers for your patience on this one. You're going to see a mixture of sun and cloud for your Thursday, a high of 8 degrees. The overnight low not going anywhere, 8 degrees. So lots of melt going to take place by Friday, double digits, 12 degrees, and a 60% chance for showers. That rain continuing throughout the weekend before the sun making a reappearance on Monday. In southern Georgian Bay, similar conditions there, clearing for your Thursday, a high of 4. Overnight, though, temperatures rising to 6 degrees, an 8 daytime high for Friday, but with That brings the rain. That will convert into sleet on Saturday. As temperatures dip on Sunday, that will further convert into flurries. So you're going to get a little taste of everything in the next 4 days or so. But we're all waking up tomorrow to mainly cloudy. If you wake up nice and early, temperatures around 0, a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of your day. To start by 10 a.m., 2 degrees, not bad. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the full forecast, about 5 degrees as a daytime high is expected. So another day of melting.
Mild temperatures.
Mild
we have
and melting.
Just so our viewers know, we have these massive snowbanks out in our parking lot here outside our studios. I think we should send Alan to get a photo of them tonight.
That's a good plan.
And see what they look like by the end of Friday.
They start to shrink.
He's looking at me like I'm adding tasks for his job tonight, but I just want to see the difference because we're going to see a lot of melt as we get into the next 24 hours or so.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, finally for us tonight, an update on a story we brought you back in the fall as the Toronto Blue Jays defied expectations and nearly won the World Series.
So close. They won our hearts either way. Well, we spoke then with the fan who caught the ball during George Springer's ALCS Game 7 home run. He's now sharing details on where that piece of baseball history has ended up. This was the scene at Rogers Centre on October 20th when George Springer hit a 3-run homer, helping the Jays secure victory over the Seattle Mariners and sending the team to the Fall Classic for the first time since 1993.
Jays fan Michael Angeletti says he was among several people reaching for the ball as it came at his direction, and he basically blacked out for a few seconds upon making the catch. He later put the ball up for auction and now says that after fees, he netted around $30,000 from the sale. Hey, that's pretty good chunk of change in his pocket. I don't know. Would you pick the $30,000 or the George Springer ALCS Game 7 home run ball?
It depends on how much he paid for the tickets. Because tickets, if you remember, were going up, you know, some people were paying around $10,000.
So maybe if we make up the story in our heads, he paid a lot of money for the tickets, sold the ball, and made back the money from his tickets.
Yeah, either way, a win-win.
It's a win in my eyes. All right, that's it for us. Chris Simpson has your next local news at 11:30. Good night.